anywhere near what they were capable of last week. I think he's bang on right to say 3-0 here. Not to mention the fact Solary didn't really put up too many goals last week. I believe only 4 or 5 if I counted, but my handwriting's terrible.
Listen, last week, Vitality went 9-1. They currently sit at a 12-1 record. Their one is Solary. So at the very least, they have been the most difficult team for Renault Vitality so far in this tournament, and that is certainly a little bit of a bragging point. What could be very difficult, though, is this offensive play. A lot of players committed. A lot of eyes on Alpha in this one. Said to Gibbs that he is feeling well and good. There's a shot top corner. What a save from K-Dot. Well read.
And that's something that I've actually come to appreciate with K-Dop over the past couple of seasons of the RLCS. The defense has really leveled up for him. For the longest time, he was really just a big offensive force, and to see him develop nicely into a solid defender has been a real treat to enjoy.
Well, says he's trying to learn the mechanical side from his two teammates. For the time being, there is no mind greater in all of Rocket League. Maybe some of his ex-Dignitas teammates maybe shout him at that one, but K-Dop, one of the smartest players that we have ever seen, as he's going to pop up. That's an open net, and it should be scored, but he couldn't get the power. Gave Carrion too much time to recover. And now Exotic over the top. K-Dop has got to try and scramble, and he's not going to make it.
I'm going to go look at K-Dop's camera. I'm wondering why he was so far out of position. He got jammed up in the far corner with no boost, and of course there was no pad at the midfield either. So all of Vitality thinking K-Dop's going to make it back a little bit faster than he's actually able to, because that midfield boost was gone and just got popped over someone's head, and they won the race. Solary on the board.
Carrion is going to leave it for Exotic. A huge and impressive off-season for Exotic. Almost able to take down Khalid in the salt mine. Very much a statement of what he is capable of, as Fairy Peak looks to drop it. Not quite. Yukis keeps it out. Now K-Dot wants to infield, but it's over to nobody because Fairy Peak was too busy getting bumped. Renault Vitality having a lot of look-ins at the moment, but Solary's defense really holding up well. Not giving away a clear-cut opportunity just yet. It's going to be dropped over to K-Dot. He's got a lot of work. Double commit yet again. Fairy Peak wants to make them pay for it. Into the midfield. Exotic will clear their lines, and Solary will survive another barrage.
And you know, you brought up Vitality with a lot of chances on that. They had a bunch last week too and were struggling to put them away, and that was kind of what I was alluding to when I felt like I was saying Vitality not really playing up to par, and a bit of a disappointment for me to have them come back here in week 2 and still have some struggles finding the back of the net.
Over the top, Alpha is bumped away. Has very much been many teams' approach to stopping Alpha nowadays, letting the ball go past them and just simply trying to remove the car. That's a good bump though. K-Dop just has to clear. Fairy Peak will help him out. Another shot on target. K-Dop equal to the save again, but half the game gone now. Solary making a very good statement as to why they can take at least a game from this. Lucas clears. That's a bit of a dangerous one though. Fairy Peak looks to control. Too heavy for him though. And one player that you don't want to let control it is Fairy Peak.
Absolutely, and that first touch is so important here for Vitality, and the double commit. K-Dop just forced a challenge, and they still somehow punch the ball out, but Vitality can keep getting in each other's way, and it's definitely thrown off the rotation in terms of field coverage, as that's everyone pushing forward and thankfully off the mark.
You make a great point there, Achieves. It's very few times we've managed to see Vitality follow up their own touches. It's a lot of solo play so far. K-Dop looks to show off some of those brand new mechanics off the backboard. Exotic able to read. Alpha will try and control. Hooks it around, goes backside. It's another poor shot. And Vitality, even when they are getting into a good position, can't quite find the lever quite required to get the ball past Solary's defense.
It's a nice little pass out to Alpha.
Oh, dearie me. Exotic. There is nothing but sympathy for you on this commentator's side, my friend. Stuck in between Alpha, stuck in between Fairy. Unfortunately, neither of those are necessarily a player that you want to see one-on-one, let alone 2v1.
You know, I like the approach. We're struggling to get good pressure. Just catch it on the dribble, go smash the guy out of the way, and we'll put the ball back. That's all right. That'll work.
So Vitality might be able to scramble this game back. One that it looked like Solary were going to be able to start locking down in, especially as we were heading to the last minute. Fairy Peak pops, only 30 boost for him. He's going to need K-Dop to come and help. Tries to find Alpha, but again, those team plays pretty much non-existent for Renault Vitality. K-Dop's able to try and drive down the line, and Carrion is very lucky to get away with both boost and with his car still intact. Alpha with a drop, going to need a follow-up from his teammate, who are still in the midfield or even further back.
I like the command from Exotic, and oh so close, but Fairy Peak definitely out in front of that one. Got the angle right to punch it into the corner as well. Underrated touch from Fairy Peak there.
Exotic doing a lot of work so far in this transition game. Incredibly mechanically solid. Maybe not a name that too many will know about coming into this season, but by the end of it, very much the same sort of skill styles that you expect to see from, say, a Bluey in his freeze game. Carrion looks for the long clear. Alpha will not keep it up. And it is overtime. Solary only a couple more seconds away. If they can get the goal from giving Vitality their second loss of the tournament, Exotic would like to deliver it. Alpha will try and keep it out. Still good pressure for Solary. Fairy Peak leaves. He's now managed to bait in Yukis. Alpha was on the far side for him to work with. They're now starting to pinball the ball around. Exotic has to try and wait, and it's a very heavy first touch from Alpha. He couldn't keep the pressure on. Here's Fairy. Nice shot. Ooh. It's an even better save. Now they can try and transition. Alpha avoids a bump and gets the challenge. Phenomenal midfield play.
A couple of big challenges from Vitality at the end of the regulation, and here in overtime, K-Dop tries to just muscle one through the defense. But you brought up the absolutely correct point. Those strong first touches from Vitality. K-Dop stretching off the post and out. Tough break for Vitality.
If there was anyone that wanted that to fall to, it was K-Dop. Alpha looks to take it. Fairy Peak with the follow. He chooses the back down. Still Carrion coming in. Fairy Peak can't quite get the ceiling reset. K-Dop over to Alpha. Unchallenged. Gets the reset. Couldn't quite get it, but K-Dop's let the ball drop to him. And it's another awful shot from K-Dop. It's not the performance he was expecting from himself. Exotic scrambling to keep it out. And another player gets demoed. Exotic 0 boost, but too much respect from Vitality. They didn't quite know about it. Alpha already the midfield target. He's going to get the double tap. Outstanding from Alpha 54.
Juicy one from Alpha. That'll make up for the K-Dop miss any day. Ooh, beautiful double tap from Alpha. Great catch from Fairy Peak on the wall to get that out into the middle as well. And well, somehow, Vitality are able to claw their way all the way back, and not an easy first game for them. A lot of strong first touches, struggling with good ball control to keep it close and give themselves more opportunities. They were really getting stopped by Solary a lot towards that final third just because they couldn't get that ball under their own power and exercise what we know is a very dangerous offense. So you got to give credit to Solary on defense for regulation. That's what, 6, 9, 11 saves. So well done to them, but
very
looking forward. Vitality definitely know you can do more damage, and K-Dop with 4 shots and no goals is a shock to everyone, I think.
Absolutely. For Solary, I think there's going to be a bit of a worry, though, because we saw Vitality start to change their approach towards the latter half of that game, especially with the air dribbles. They've got Alpha, they've got K-Dop, they've got Fairy Peak, all players that are very good at setting you up for a disadvantageous mid-air challenge on the air dribble. It's going to get scary. They have to try and cut that out at the source. They cannot let them get that clean bounce touch on the floor, because if they do, those 3 players are typically going to at least go 50, if not better, against your defending player.
Yeah, definitely looking for a bit more ability from the defense of Solary. While they may have stopped the shots, it's really staying next to the ball, being able to chase it down and move forward. So we'll see what happens here in game 2, but you know, maybe we didn't give Solary enough credit. We all walked in here thinking 3-0, but they definitely put on a good defensive showing, and all that matters now is can they get more offense.
Let's find that out here. Game number 2. Whoever wins this series is going to be within another shout of moving into our top 8. And they'll get 3 chances to do so. Only one team throughout this entire tournament has dropped that particular advantage, and that was Fadeaway last week. You don't want to add yourself to that list, but firstly, you've got to get yourself in the position to do so. Alpha, he's got K-Dop and Fairy Peak, decides to go by himself. And that is a phenomenal play. Alpha, he said to Gibbs he wasn't feeling ill. I tell you what, I'm starting to believe him here. He is really hotting up. Especially
after nailing that double tap at the end of the last game. There's one towards the backboard, and Yukis there to defend as well. And Picking up right where we left off in game 1. Vitality putting pressure. Can they make anything happen? Floats to K-Dop and gets it in off of Yukis. Unfortunate for Solary here. Fairy Peak working a little shimmy shake magic on the corner. Little flick over one. That's the 1v1 coming back and off the crossbar and into the wheels of Yukis. Great play from Vitality.
Well, K-Dop does get a little bit of help to sort the shooting out, but did a great job playing the field, at least keeping it in a dangerous position. And you know, whatever, anything can happen. K-Dop will clear. Plenty of time for Solary to figure this one out. Danger becomes here, though, achieves. It has been a long time since we saw Solary have a good shooting opportunity. And the one goal they did score was more Vitality mistake than it was Solary outplay.
Yeah. And that is going back to Vitality is doing a great job here. What a bump in the corner. That was amazing. They caught them on transition here because of how they played the midfield. They went off the sidewall and then the pass across, dumped it into the corner, and Fairy Peak just put the pressure on the two players out there and got them to sort of chip each other and stop their ability to rotate into the goal, leaving a totally open net for Alpha. So real nice job from Vitality.
I love it. We are, I don't know how long into this game being out, and still that corner is a nightmare for everybody. We're going to see Vitality continue the offensive pressure. They're up by 3.
Oh, boy.
And any worries we had coming out of game 1 have been very quickly rectified.
Yeah, Exotic just lost the race on the kickoff, and not to mention a little pre-flip from Alpha, get to that ball with the nose and pop it up high instead of just trying to muscle it through himself, beat the last man and kick it off the wall. Selfless touch from Alpha and a quick 3-0. This is a disaster for Solary here in game 2.
So, from this position, Vitality should not be dropping it. Very rarely do we even see teams at this level dropping a 2-goal lead, a 3-goal lead. Very much on Vitality, but they are going to potentially drop one here, though. And again, caught on the transition. Vitality do get a little bit antsy with that third man.
K-Dop got caught flipping forward because he saw his teammate going for the challenge in the box of Solary's half. So K-Dop flips forward, and right as he flipped, that ball popped right back the other way off the nose of Yukis, and he just did not have time to make it back again.
It's one of those horrible things as well, because, oh my God. All right, K-Dop. All right, we get it. We get it. We questioned your shooting. You've got a hat trick now. I think you're all good to go, mate.
And that is a beautiful catch as well. And it stems from what's been really a big problem for Solary in the midfield. While they've been doing a good job, or at least they did in game 1, of stopping Vitality shots, in game 2, it's that slight shift of approach here from Vitality. It's the horizontal aspect of the touches when they move out of their own half. But here they miss the clear off the backboard. Exotic able to turn in a nice, easy double tap. Just the demo giving him a little space. K-Dop and Fairy Peak both can't get it. And a great back post shot from Exotic.
Definitely on Solary's side. They are playing well, it has to be said. Just struggling when it comes to matching Vitality for raw pace. When they are getting situations, they are using them. And this is another good one. Kyrian has to try and do better with that in the future. Exotic with the pop. Almost gets leveled on his way out. Instead looks for the 1v3. 1v3 against Vitality, certainly something you can put on your resume. Kyrian comes in, it's another shot. I don't think he really had that one either way. Fairy Peak very much had him covered. This is good pressure here from Solary. Well, 2 goals down, half the game still left to play. Very much within fighting chances.
Oh, double miss, that's terrible. K-Dop so late, what the heck? Why is Vitality so far behind that play? That looked like it should have been free.
Looking for the second double tap of the series. Alpha will not quite get it. But it has gone very weird. It almost feels to me like Vitality think the job is done. And if that one went in, it very well could have been.
It's close. And still off the bar. Exotic trying to race back. He'll lose to K-Dop, though. Okay, there we go. Now we're done.
Okay, at this point, I'm starting to look at K-Dop's score amounts, because it's not exactly outside of Vitality to just start posting up goal after goal after goal. Definitely saw it from that
contrast.
Yeah, we saw it at the end of the last season, actually, where Vitality basically put Veloce away and just started having a fight over the assist trophy of the season. So, you know, they are known to maybe take their foot off the gas a little bit.
But not here. Not so early on in the tournament.
Not yet here. Oh, Kyrian, again, so close to it. Just needed a little bit further on the car. Again, that defense is a little bit less clean than we're used to seeing it.
And what's doing Vitality so many favors is that horizontal clearing that they approach with on defense. Any ball comes towards them, that first touch is usually straight out to the side, and it's beating that second man in rotation from Solary, and it's just led to so many problems with Solary hanging onto the ball.
Well, Fairy Peak would like to get on the board. Fairy Peak will get on the board. 6-2 now. Very much out of Solary's hands at this point.
Yeah, you're
it's happened again. They've just started arguing over who's getting goals again.
Yeah, that's just that's a classic. K-Dop and Fairy Peak have been playing together for who knows how many years at this point, and yeah, I'm gonna steal that one from you.
Very much. Very good friends coming into this team. To continue what they're doing here. But as of right now, Renault Vitality in the driver's seat, coasting towards a 2-0 in this. As they go for the fancy stuff. Couldn't quite pull it off.
I like it. Pull out a few more things in the bag of tricks. Why not? Final 30 seconds, really a pleasure cruise though. Exotic turned away. Demo? No, still no good.
It has just been truly hard for Solary. They're looking for something here. Exotic especially. Every time he gets hold of the ball, it seems like he figures out, okay, I've got to kick up another notch of difficulty on what I'm trying to do with it in midair. And none of it's worked for him so far. I'm expecting the double flip resets to start happening very soon. And knowing Exotic, he is certainly capable of it. K-Dop, another one. That's 5 goals.
Okay.
What's alarming is that this isn't even the most amount of goals he's ever scored in a single game in the RLCS. He is just that lethal.
Wow. And Carrion, he flipped to the far post, definitely. I mean, I can understand why. K-Dop's car language says it's coming off that far corner of the Octane. It's going to go straight out to that back post. And actually, I had that car angled down a little more, got it off the wheels, and went straight in. That's just brutal. And K-Dop, there you go. Okay, you've shut me up. You went 0-4 last game. Here you go, what, 5 for 6?
He just realized that, you know, it's goals per game. So right now, he's still on 2.5 goals per game achieves.
Perfect. He's doing great. But
7-2. My goodness. Solary, not a team to really roll over in any series, but they are struggling right now. And it's the impossible question, Achieves, that I'm sure if you answered it correctly, there will be coaching jobs lined up across the world for you. But Solary, you know, what can they change to make this a bit more competitive?
Well, so I touched on it a little bit. I really do think it's how Vitality approaches the defense on their own half. They do such a good job of moving the ball from the left or right side of the pitch to the opposite end without actually covering any distance towards Solary's half. They utilize the horizontal aspect of their own half incredibly well, and they're ready for it, where Solary is getting beat, and they just lose the second challenge after that first clear attempt straight across. And so Vitality's having a pretty easy time breaking out. So I think if Solary gets a little bit more of a handle on the horizontal aspect of how Vitality's trying to clear the ball, they really might be able to box him in a little better.
Well, Solary already do have that one win against Vitality from last week. They would like to try and make it 3, or at least get themselves a game to their own name. Not only, obviously, for momentum, should they drop down, but also to try and shut Gibbs up, which I'm sure is always top of everyone's priority list. Listen, we have seen plenty of players go out of their way to perform better just to make us a bit quieter on the analyst desk, and I certainly will never say no to that. Ukis and the rest of Solary, though, they've got to find something here. Maybe they've got someone listening in to our ladder here, Achieves. They can get something. Oh, wow. Kyrian already starting to launch. And I wouldn't mind Solary just going for the full send strategy. Just truly see if you can overwhelm Renault Vitality.
It's very possible. I mean, that will put Vitality in a lot of 2-on-1 scenarios. If you just throw everything you have at the ball all the time, Vitality likes to rotate pretty close to each other, and all it takes is one challenge, and then you're in a very advantageous position.
2 of the goals that we have seen from Solary have come from just long-range blasts, with Vitality not in position on the rotation. Carrion just over to Alpha. Look for K-Dop. I've found some success with the demo so far. Nothing quite there, though. Oh, as they get in front of each other, Exotic has to try and now play this with 16 boost in an awful position. Vitality just quick to everything at the moment. Not quite taking the bait. Well, they do lose Fairy Peak. Alpha will come in to try and support. It's going to be a little bit late to try and take up that spot. Arian off the backboard. That's way too much work for him to do. We needed a teammate to come in and help out. But right now, very much a nothing game here achieves. Both teams happy just to lever it and see where they can go. But Fairy Peak going to give the first real opportunity. The great trap from Carrion, though, and removes the danger, at least for the time being.
But Solary making their own adjustments here on offense. Yeah, they're being real aggressive and sending a lot at the ball, but at the same time, they're also trying to back pass a little bit when they get in that last third of the pitch, because they realize they might not have much, and that's really limiting Vitality's opportunities to get touches on the ball in their own half.
I did say it was a bit more of a dull affair so far in Game 3, but if you're Solary, that's perfect, because the last one kind of saw you drop 7. So just change anything you possibly can, and you can have a chance to carry in. Again, it's just his shooting, man. His positioning has been phenomenal. He's always where his team need him to be. Just hasn't found the final bit.
Ooh, nice little catch from Fairy Peak, though. And that's a big possession hold on for Fairy Peak. Yeah, it'll break that possession up from Solary a little bit. Let Vitality make sure they're ready here.
Solary continue to really aim for these air dribbles. Vitality just waiting for them to start coming down and then going for the challenge. Infield pass. Ukis doesn't want any of it. It's handed straight over to Alpha.
Wow. It feels so all or nothing for Solary, you know? It's like they're either all going for it on offense or everyone just says nope, and they just wait and see what happens here in Game 3.
Oh, Ukis is going to break that one up. You know what? In any situation, I would blame you. On this one, certainly don't, as K-Dop almost punishes him for it, though.
Oh.
The Rocket League gods will smile upon Ukis for today.
For now.
For now. Maybe the punishment is coming later on, however. Fairy Peak takes his time. Sees Exotic trying to move in. Ukis into the corner. Alpha will look to try and catch. Oh my goodness, he's flipped into it and almost got the reset. Never quite know when Alpha is done playing the ball, and that is his biggest strength. And then 20 on the clock. I feel like we haven't actually seen a goal-scoring opportunity outside of K-Dop skying it.
Yeah, no, nobody's really had much.
One.
That was right at him. But it's definitely been slim pickings in terms of shots on goal. And here's Alpha, hard cut, and there we go. Carrion ready for it. Alpha tried that same move in the last game.
On clear, Ukis has got Carrion moving to the side with him. Couldn't quite give it to him a path that would give him the 100 boost. Exotic with another miss. Solary's entire game has been do the majority of the work, get to the final shot. Not quite have the goods for it. Fairy Peak will be in the midfield to challenge. Alpha wants to turn, and he is going to do so. Exotic clears to K-Dop with Fairy Peak midfield. Have they spotted him? They got to him a little late, as Ukis was covering the shooting angles. Renault Vitality getting more and more threatening by the second, though.
Oof, big block.
Alpha just adjusts so quickly in the air. He is so good at setting you up for where he wants you.
What is going on? Everyone from Vitality and Solary next to that ball just sort of jumped at it, didn't do anything, and I had no idea who was going to come down with the ball.
I feel like I understood what was happening in Game 1 achieves.
Yeah.
Game 2 and 3 have definitely been things that have happened.
Oh,
as K-Dop might get an opportunity. He's on 0 boost, decides to pop it for his teammate. Well played. Alpha, flip
no!
Off the back of the ferry! Off the crossbar! And we had to wait a whole 5 minutes. But what a bit of excitement that was to end it.
Oh, Fairy Peak's going to be kicking himself, especially with such a beautiful recovery from Alpha. They will not get it back on the kickoff either. So 3-0 in danger here. Can Solary crack Vitality? They've outshot them, but only just here in Game 3.
That doesn't really sound like much of a compliment, given what we have seen so far in this game. 2 major opportunities, though, have definitely been for Renault Vitality. K-Dop, he's going to have to try and read it off the ceiling. Always a bit of a difficult task. Alpha on the chase, only for Exotic. Carrion will move in, takes the shot. Ooh. That is crucial. You don't want to see him going for the double tap. And now Ukis a bit far forward, especially on 18 boost. That was very brave. Gives 100 boost for his teammate. Exotic takes it. Carrion off the backboard, and K-Dop missed it. And that's the goal that gives Solary a game win.
Well, I mean, you don't have to say anything about this one. K-Dop's in position, had everything in his favor, just misread the bounce, and it beat Fairy Peak back. Unfortunate for Vitality. They're going to have to go another 5 minutes before they want to put him away, but you know, you can't blame Solary. I actually do think they played a pretty good game here in Game 3. They definitely held a lot of pressure. Of course, the two big goal-scoring chances were obviously for Vitality, but that one at 0 seconds, the Fairy Peak punched off the bar, and the one before that just unfortunately not able to get home. So Solary, you played a solid game, make some good adjustments. They did a much better job keeping the ball out of the hands of Vitality, at least early on in the game, I felt like. It was really aggressive, or nobody was there, and so they were ready for Vitality because they were giving Vitality a lot of space, and Vitality under pressure was putting the ball sideways, but when nobody was there, they were just bombing it up the pitch and right back into Solary's hands for a little bit.
Yeah, Vitality had two opportunities that they really should have taken, but that game was ugly. It was a bit dirty in terms of the way we saw the way playing, but if you are going to turn around and say, at the end of it, Solary reverse swept Renault Vitality, and someone asked you, so how did that happen? Those are sort of the ways that you would expect that to be described, because if this is a clean game, played very, you know, nice looking Rocket League, Vitality win that every day.
Oh yeah, I think unquestionably, but rarely is Rocket League just clean and
it's always more entertaining when it's not, I can tell you that.
I think the last time we saw quote-unquote clean Rocket League would have been the Season 3 World Finals. That was probably the cleanest Rocket League you'll ever find to date.
It was too clean, I would always argue.
It was too clean.
K-Dot and Fairy Peak both know about that one. They were there for it. Not quite on the result that they wanted from it, though. The last time we saw Renault Vitality struggling to fire was back in Game 1. They responded with a 7-goal game in Game 2. We've seen the same thing in Game 3, so what have they got for us this time around? Last result would definitely been a wake-up call, and that's the play that you want to see if you're a Vitality fan. Thunderous teamwork.
Look at K-Dop win the race. Alpha just circles back around. Here you go, Fairy Peak. Beautiful pass. We always give so much credit to the shooter, but that is a lot more difficult than Alpha made it look. To drive up the corner, have the camera swivel on you as you turn around to hit it straight down into your teammate's nose. That was just a beautiful delivery.
Almost at that sort of level, like the camera is just sort of a slight guide to you. Most of these guys very aware of where it is as Yukis looks to tie up, and K-Dot back to his defensive best. Saw a lot of it in Game 1. It makes a showing yet again as Exotic's first touch is too heavy. Over to Carrion. Solary going back to these mid-air dribbles, and I just don't think that's the way to go, Achieves. They've tried it so often, they've not got a single shooting opportunity out of it.
They will lose those races if they do that. I can't think of many people faster, if any, than K-Dop, Fairy Peak, and Alpha in a race to the ball in the air.
Oh, double commit, double the power, if you ask Greasy Meister. Having the tournament of his life still over in the bracket as it's going to be bouncing into the midfield. Good clear from K-Dop. Exotic's not got a chance. It's going to be an opportunity for K-Dop, who whistles past it. Alpha comes in to help. Fairy Peak over to Alpha again with the drop shot, and it skims the front of the goal. Fairy Peak couldn't quite make it there in time.
That would have been beautiful and would have just exemplified perfectly why there are not many offenses that get the job done like Vitality. There's the infield pass drilled into the near post. A beautiful play from Vitality. Carrying, good touch. That's to safety. But again, straight 90 degrees to the right. Yukis lost track of it. And that's another big difference here between Vitality and Solary. I mean, how many shots have you seen from Solary in this series? Come straight out to the middle, look like it's in a good spot, and then someone dives across for the net to make a big save. And more often than not in this series, it's been K-Dop. He's just been keeping such good track of where shots are coming from. And unfortunately, Solary here give up a second one because they don't understand where the angle's going.
And it definitely seems like we have seen Vitality almost monopolize the backboard of Solary. Whenever they get an opportunity, they're sending someone over there, really stretching what this defense has to deal with. Fairy Peak looks to just pop it. It's only over to Exotic. Alpha comes on in. That's not the touch he was after either. But this is not the position that Solary wanted in. Finally get the ball cleared. It's only over to Fairy Peak, who's going to take all the time that he wants. Decides to route it over 100 boost. Solary have got to try and make this possession count. It's over to Alpha. Did end up popping it. Carrion has maybe got an option moving in with him. He does go for take it. Yukis was there for the shot. And Solary, you know, full credit. That was a phenomenal idea. But it was so quickly read. Not going to go in. Carrion holding himself on the goalkeeping line. But this is why you don't want to drop a lead to Vitality, because no matter how good the play is, they will typically read it, and in this situation, they can hold all 3 players back.
Oh, dear.
They're going to look to keep saving. They can't do that one. Perfect placement.
Perfect placement. It's tough to say. Obviously, triple commit, that's bad. Uncontested shot, but it looks to me like Carrion's trying to drill that in the top right, or in the top left corner, and he just misjudged it. But either way, it ends up being perfect, because K-Dop would have been right there for that upper corner shot, so... The bouncer gets it done off the triple commit.
We have been criticizing Carrion for his shooting accuracy so far today. He's weaponized it now. So, you know, we'll call that an adaptation. Really give him credit for it, as K-Dop does have an option to his left. Couldn't quite get it there, though. Minute and a half left on the clock. Solary still need to find themselves a goal if they want to stay in this series. Ferry Peak off the backboard. K-Dop will go. Not able to be quick enough, and now Yukis might have an opportunity. It's a difficult shot he's left for himself. And he couldn't quite take advantage, even left it bouncing for Alpha, who hasn't got the same sort of feather first touch that we are used to seeing from him.
Seeing more of the same from Solary here as well in this game, where pressure, 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 either everyone's there or nobody is. And with 50 seconds, I think you're going to see a lot more of it.
You're going to have to at this point. Really running out of opportunities. Off the backboard, Ferry Peak by himself goes very quick.
Wow.
You can see how clean he is. Attacker was coming in. Ferry didn't even have to try and settle for a block. Again, quick enough. Ferry Peak has to respond as Alpha was moved out of position. Yukis looks for another double tap. Can he get this one? He's going to be so annoyed every time that backboard is aimed for. Nothing has worked. Renault Vitality too quick on the draw. 15 seconds now. Vitality just handing them the ball back. What can Solary do with it? Carrion looks for the infield option. He couldn't quite get it to bounce for him. Yukis again looks infield. They've managed to get it past Alpha. Carrion with Yukis also on the penalty marker. As Alpha will just let it drop down. Renault Vitality take it 3-1 yet again. Deja vu from last week.
And you got to give a world of applause to Ferry Peak for the big defensive showcase towards the end of that game. I mean, he's got 5 saves, but it's not the saves that mattered. It was his ability to, well, obviously it was the saves that mattered as well, but his ability to go out there and stop a lot of dangerous passing opportunities before they even materialized from Solary. I mean, that was a defensive masterclass at the end of that game 4 from Ferry Peak. Go back and watch that last 30 seconds. Dude was a monster.
Yeah, it feels like, to me, a lot of the goals that we saw Vitality concede was just them messing up defensive rotation a little bit, especially in the first 2 games. Everything they conceded
or the triple
was
commit.
actually them just going too heavy on the offense. So I feel like there's definitely a ways to go for Vitality. And we say this every single time, I feel, throughout this tournament, is that we get to an end of Vitality game and we go, yeah, they won. They were comfortable. They can do better.
There's more.
And that is horrifying.
It really is.
It truly is horrible to think of. For Solary, though, they now drop down to 1-1, still very much on the route to try and get themselves a top 8 spot and in a position for tomorrow's Championship Sunday. But when we come back, it's Guild Esports taking on Barca. You're not going to want to miss that match.